Hello, Skele Vaderites and friends of Skele Vader. This is a big day. My wife and daughters picked me up Point Dread and Talon Fighter playset for my birthday. Let's have a look. Alright, so if you watch this channel, you know I have mixed feelings about this playset, but first, let's look at how incredible the artwork is. We got the Lords of Power figures in the front. We've got this incredible artwork with two Rotons, these images that are throwbacks to the vintage card art or box art. And who's this, right? I'm very excited about that. That's exciting. And then we've got the numbers here for folks who want to go out there and find this in the stores. By the way, this is showing up in Walmarts and Targets. I've seen them out there. So, I mean, look at this panel here. So, you know, whatever your complaints might be, if you have any, the Mattel team is really knocking the ball out of the park with this artwork. Everything about this box screams nostalgia, so really excited about this. Getting this stuff out of the box, it's great. There's hardly any additional plastics being used here. It's all paper materials, aside from, of course, the toys, or the parts of the toy. Look at that satellite there. That goes on the top. We'll look at that in a little bit. But man, getting this thing opening it up, having a look at all of the parts of the Point Dread, this computer console, control panel, whatever you want to call it, is great. We're going to get into this in a little bit, but I want to also mention that the paint application to the front of this is fantastic. It's just a gentle spray black wash over that green, and it really, really works well. Here we've got the new Talon Fighter, which has the sort of the plexiglass panels that didn't come with the vintage one, and then these stickers, which are very reminiscent of, in fact, near replicas of the vintage stickers, and you know, it's great. So this is something that I didn't have as a kid, and I always envied my friends. Look at the details here on the top there, plastic, clear plastic, and it's got these sort of jewel eyes, which is fantastic too, which is an addition. But my friends who had this, I loved playing with their Talon Fighters. I had this sort of dream that eventually I would have this, and today, thanks to my wife and daughters, I do have it. And so putting this thing together is a real joy for me. First thing I noticed, slight complaint, which I've already mentioned in previous videos, Toy Frenzy, etc., here on this channel, is that it's not as tall. The two parts that come together to create the Point Dread is not as tall as the vintage. The directions are great. They're very simple. You put this thing together. Once you get it together, you realize that the Talon Fighter is just a little bit bigger than the vintage, and that the Point Dread itself, I love that there's that gun option, that gun turret option, but I gotta go with the traditional satellite there. But as I was saying, the big disappointment, if you are familiar with the vintage play set, is that the Point Dread parts of this are not as tall as the vintage. Biggest complaint though, it fits right onto Grayskull perfectly fine. It looks great. Putting it together here, I want to show you exactly what I mean by the size differentiation. Look at how tall an Origins figure is in comparison to this. An Origins figure really can't use that computer console, but a reaction figure absolutely can. If you're noticing any themes from my videos lately, reaction figures work really well with Masters of the Universe, Origins playsets, and vintage playsets. So no Origins figure can walk up those stairs, but a reaction figure definitely can. And they can fit through the entrances and exits of these playsets. Look at this faker looking out the window there. I love this. It works perfectly for that size. Now, On the other hand, you take the Origins figures and you put them inside of the Talon Fighter, and they fit perfectly. I don't recall from the vintage Talon Fighter, but I believe you could only put one figure in. This one, you can put two in there. There are two sets of steering handles, which allows you to place two figures in there, and they can stay perfectly still, holding onto those handles as you play with them. I really love that about the new Talon Fighter. It's big enough to house two figures, two Origins figures, even though they look a little crowded in there, and it might get a little bit warm in that cockpit. Now, I did want to also try placing a reaction figure in the cockpit of the Talon Fighter as well. As you can see, he's quite roomy in there, this little faker. But it kind of looks great to have a figure inside of here that looks like it might fit inside a large air transport. I am overwhelmingly ecstatic that I have this in my collection. Aside from the size problems, the size problems will never really fix those in Origins, and that's okay. It's a little bit of a nod to the vintage line, but I'm really happy to have this playset as part of my collection. Thank you to my wife and daughters for picking this up for me. And also a big thank you to those of you who watch this channel and to the patrons of this channel. You'll see all of their names down below, and if you want to become a patron, you can click on the link. But you know what? I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.